guys, so today we're going to make the toad in the hole. This is the 6th and last of our cooking programme. However, we will still do other cooking. It just won't be within the programme we have been running through Facebook with certain clients who've been involved. So what we're going to do first is I need you to set your oven to gas mark 6 or 200 degrees C and let that just preheat. And then I need you to get a tin that you're going to use for your toad in the hole. I'm using this one. You can use the square one. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, whatever size and preference you have. And then what I want you to do is use 30 grams of oil, which is about 6 teaspoons. It's quite a bit. I'm going to say roughly about that much. You want it to kind of coat the bottom of the pan, okay? And then what we're going to do next is we're going to get our sausages and pop them into the oil. If you're using lard or dripping, you need to melt it first. So what you do is instead of just putting the oil in like I have, you need to put your lard in your pan, pop that in the oven, and then give it 3 or 4 minutes just to melt, and then get it back out to put your sausages in. Okay, so the next step is the sausages. Okay guys, as the recipe says to use nearly 500 grams of sausages, that's actually about 8 sausages, which is probably way too much for this little tin. So I'm actually going to do 2. So you do exactly the same thing. I think the recipe would be enough for these 2 tins, because I think 4 sausages in these tins with the Yorkshire pudding, when we add that, is going to be more than enough for this size of tin. So I'll let you decide what you're going to do with that. Then what you do is you want to roll your sausages around in the oil or the dripping. If you've warmed the dripping up, if you've used dripping, and it's warm, just be very careful with your fingers. I'd suggest you wait until it has completely cooled before you do this. Okay, so once they are all ready to go, you then need to put that into the oven that you've preheated at gas mark 6 at the top of the oven, and you need to leave that for about 15 to 20 minutes until these sausages are cooked and golden. Test them with a fork if you want. We'll show you that in a minute. Okay, just going to wash my hands and then I'm going to go and put them in the oven. So I'm about to put them in the oven now. Just to say, you can use any sausages you want. These are pork sausages, but you can use vegetable sausages. You can use beef sausages, doesn't matter, whatever you fancy. Okay, so pop them in the oven just like I'm going to do on the top shelf, and then leave them for 15 to 20 minutes. Check them and see how they're looking, but you need them to be okay, folks. So while your toad in the hole is cooking away, while your sausages are cooking away, the rest of it's not there yet, we're going to make the batter, which will obviously make the Yorkshire pudding. So what we're going to do for that is we need 300 mils of milk. So I'm just going to show you that. I've got the wrong side. That's the side you want. There we go. So 300 mils of milk. And we're going to pop that into our bowl. Ready? Okay. And then we're going to need pop that to one side for a moment. And we're going to need 125 grams of flour, which yours should be nicely, if you're joining in with us, if you're taking part in the course, then you should have it already pre-weighed for you in your box. There we go. Okay, so 125 grams of flour. Oops, a bit too much there. I'll take some of that out. It's more like it. Okay, so then we're just going to add that in. And then we need 2 eggs. So I'm going to use this bowl just to make sure in case I get any eggshell, because I can get it out easier. So you just tap the side of your egg with your spoon, your knife, whatever you want to use, and open and crack them into your bowl. You want the whole egg, and I haven't got any shell in there, I don't think. So we're good to go. We'll pop that straight in. Okay. Just going to give my hands a quick swirl. I'll be with you in a second. Okay, and then you want to just add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. If you want to, we haven't included this, but if you want to, you can add some herbs in this. Sage would work well, but that's entirely up to you. So now what you need to do is get a fork or a whisk, whichever I can find. There we go. Sorry about that. And then just mix all of that together really nicely. So give it a really good mix. There we go. Okay. Until it's completely combined and there's no lumps. Whisking it's probably easier. Probably mixes it better than a fork. You'd take a bit longer with a fork, okay? Okay, so the next stage, while you're waiting for your sausages, we need to be putting the batter in the fridge, because the colder it is, the better it works apparently. We'll soon find out. So I'm going to pop that into my fridge, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, I've just checked my sausages and they're done, but what I'd suggest you do is go and get your batter out first, because then once your sausages come out, you need to very quickly pour the batter in and then put them straight back in. If you're not quick about it, then it doesn't rise very well. Also, I need you to be so careful getting these out of the oven, because the fat is going to be spitting and it's going to be red hot, and it has to be for the Yorkshire pudding to work. So if you need help with that, get help with it, please. Okay, so I'm just going to go get my batter. Okay guys, so here's my batter. Mentioned about putting herbs in earlier. I've forgotten we've given you thyme, which would be a nice accompaniment actually. So I'm going to put some thyme in there, which was my original plan. I just forgot all about it. And then we're going to mix that through, so that that's all nicely mixed. And then I'm going to very quickly, so I might be talking too much with this bit, get my sausages out and pour the batter in and pop them straight back in the oven. Okay, on the high shelf, it's keeping it on the same heat. Okay, so make some space and I'll be with you in a mo. Okay, straight back in the oven, quick as you can. Okay guys, we're going to make a special gravy for this, which uses balsamic vinegar. It might be nice for other occasions as well. So what we want to do is we want to fry off an onion first. So I'm going to go and get an onion and mo. Okay guys, so I've got a frying pan on the stove, and I'm just going to pop in a bit of oil to fry, so just a little bit, maybe a tablespoon or so, just to fry the onion in. And then we've got our onion ready here, using our special implement. We're going to pop that in the middle, and then we're going to make an incision to get started, because my knives are quite blunt, as I've told you before, and do that on both ends, and then peel away as much of the skin as we can. Okay, get rid of all of that, put that all out of the way, because you don't want that involved in your cooking. Okay, we're going to have to take the implement out very carefully just to get the rest of the skin off this side. There we go. Pop it back in and then we can start our chopping. So it depends how big you want your pieces of onion in your gravy. So you can follow the lines as they are on here if you want to, which makes nice slim pieces, or you can use every other section instead to make slightly bigger pieces. Depends how you like it really. There we go, get my fingers out of the way. Definitely makes it a lot easier to cut. I don't know what you guys think. Okay, so right then, so there we go. And then these pieces I'm just going to chop as much as I can in half again, just so that the pieces are a bit smaller, because I don't want big chunky massive pieces, as much as they probably will be nice with the sausages. There is some parts, so you're just going to have to look through, see which parts are a bit too big, a bit too chunky. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. It's not too chunky, but it's not tiny either. There we go. So that's going to go in the oil once it's heated. So I'm just going to pop the oil on now to heat, and then I'm going to add all of this onion into the pan. Okay, so my oil's on, so just popping the onions in there now. That's it, and then we can go and make the rest of the gravy. You want this on a relatively low heat, because you're going to be doing other bits as well while this is happening. So put it on a low heat, just give it a little stir so the oil kind of covers everything, and let that just simmer down, so that they really, basically what you want is them to soften, really brown a little bit, but mostly it's just about them softening. So okay, that's what we want to do now. Is go and put your kettle on. So just pop mine on here, so that's on, just waiting for that to boil through to make your stock. And while you're waiting for that, you can pop your balsamic vinegar in the same as you're going to make your stock in. So it's a tablespoon of, I think, I'm just going to check, of balsamic, 2 tablespoons, which is what you should have, which I'm going to guess is about that. And then what we do is we get 1 beef stock cube, or vegetable, if you're using vegetable. If you prefer to make a vegetarian version, use your veggie stock cube instead. This one's the beef one. I'm just going to crumble that into the balsamic vinegar. And then once the water's boiled, I'm going to make this up to, excuse me, 100ml, which isn't actually very much really. So I'm going to make it up to a little bit more than that, because obviously the balsamic vinegar's in here. So let's say 150, we'll make that up to. Okay, that's perfect. And then we just need our spoon or fork or whatever you're going to use to stir that with. I've just turned my kettle oil, so I'm going to hopefully you can see that size. So I'm going to make it up to 150ml, because I've already put the balsamic vinegar in, which is about there. Okay. Mix that together. A really good mix. Smells nice. So once that's all mixed together really well, that will then go over the onions once they're ready. So let's check our onions. So here they are. You can feel them softening a little bit. So I think I want them a little bit softer than that. So I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. They are browning as well, which is fine because that gives extra flavour. Just don't let them burn. Okay, so that's lovely. Okay. leave that on a low heat for about another 5 minutes or so. If you've done it all together like me, your sausages won't be too far off either now. If you're doing one bit at a time because you prefer it that way, that's fine. Okay, so my potatoes are cooked really nicely now. You'll just tell when they're nice and soft and they're starting to brown a little bit. I'm quite happy with the brown off. I'll just show you. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is the stock we just made. I'm going to pour that straight in over the top. Okay, and I'm going to mix that in. Okay. And then what we're going to do is going to increase the heat a little bit because that will have cooled it down a touch. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of corn flour, which you've got in your box as well. 1 teaspoon of corn flour, and then you really do have to keep mixing this, otherwise it will just go lumpy. So keep mixing, keep stirring it with whatever implement you've got. Keep stirring it round. So the idea of the corn flour is to thicken it, not to make it go lumpy. So you should feel it thickening a little bit. Any lumps you're getting at this point, you can squash out like I'm doing here to mix them in better. Mine's starting to thicken, I can feel it already. Okay, that's it, that looks really nice. Right, it's a nice gravy there. And it'll just give you a really flavoursome gravy for over the top of your toad in the hole. Okay, so keep stirring away, it will start to thicken and you'll see that. And once you're happy with the thickness, then you're good to go. It's a nice gravy. Okay, and it's really as simple as that. So your basically your gravy's ready to go. You might just need to warm that back up. Now you need to wait 20 to 30 minutes for your batter to rise. Hopefully if you can see through your oven door, don't open it if you can help it, because it's better to leave it without letting the heat out. But you'll see when it's done anyway, because you'll have seen it rise up to the top and it'll be golden on the top. But it's about 20 to 30 minutes, probably more like the 30 side. So fingers crossed, and we'll have a look in a bit what that looks like. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.